Ruling over the continent of Westeros for nearly 300 years, House Targaryen were the heirs of a legacy dating back to the age of Valyria, when mighty dragon lords conquered nearly all of Essos, west of the Bone Mountains. As a result of this ancestry and the tradition of marrying within their own family, the children of House Targaryen often shared a number of physical traits, such as pale skin, silver gold hair, purple eyes, and a resistance to heat, though they were not immune to fire. Some even possessed the ability to bond with dragons, or could see glimpses of the future through prophetic visions. Though the Valyrian dragon lords and their descendants conquered much of the known world, legends say they began as simple sheep herders in the Valyrian Peninsula who discovered dragons living near the chain of volcanoes they called the 14 Flames. Over time they bonded with the creatures and became skilled in the magical arts, founding the Valyrian Freehold to be ruled by the 40 wealthiest and most influential families. Considered a minor house among these aristocratic elite, the Targaryens gained a reputation for cowardice in 126 BC, when they suddenly sold all their property and moved their people, slaves, and dragons west. However, the truth was that Daenys the Dreamer, the daughter of their patriarch, had a vision foreseeing a great tragedy that would destroy the Valyrian Peninsula. Trusting her prophecy, Aenar Targaryen moved his entire household to the far western island of Dragonstone, and as a result, they were the only family to survive the Doom of Valyria, which struck 12 years later in 114 BC. Although the exact origin of the tragic event is not known, it was believed the 14 Flames erupted, destroying their cities and the peninsula. Following the Doom, Essos descended into a period of chaos and war known as the Century of Blood, with the now independent cities of the former Freehold struggling against each other for supremacy, while Dothraki horse lords ravaged central Essos. Meanwhile, on Dragonstone, the Targaryens and their 5 dragons survived, as did their allies in House Velaryon of Driftmark and House Celtigar of Claw Isle, both of Valyrian ancestry, working together to become a major power in the Narrow Sea, controlling trade with the threat of dragonfire. But they did not attempt to reconquer the lands of Old Valyria, instead focusing on prospering as Lords of Dragonstone. After the death of Aenar Targaryen, he was succeeded by his son, Gaemon the Glorious, who, in keeping with the Valyrian tradition of incest, married his sister Daenys the Dreamer. Gaemon was succeeded by his son Aegon, who married his own sister Aelena and produced 2 sons. The elder brother Maegor inherited the lordship and ruled for a time, before it passed to his younger brother Aerys, and then his 3 sons, Aelix, Balon, and Damion. Damion was then succeeded by his son Aerion, who married Valena Valerion and had 3 children, naming them Visenya, Aegon, and Rhaenys. Aerion was then succeeded by Aegon, who married both of his sisters. Though the Targaryens brought 5 dragons from Valyria, 4 died in the ensuing years, and so Aegon took the last of them, known as Balerion the Black Dread, as his own, while his sister wives took Vhagar and Meraxes, 2 more recently hatched creatures born on Dragonstone. After a century of isolating themselves from the chaos in Essos, Aegon Targaryen at last decided to intervene, joining an alliance to stop Volantene expansion and doing his part by burning an enemy fleet sent against the city of Lys. With the Volantene Wars over, and the free cities left in relative peace, the ambitious Aegon Targaryen turned his attention west and began preparing for the invasion of Westeros. Despite his people's history in Essos, it was the western continent which called to Aegon, causing him to order the construction of an elaborately carved table with a detailed map of Westeros more than 50 feet long and 25 feet wide. Yet while Aegon considered the entire continent one territory for him to rule, Westeros at the time was separated into 7 distinct realms, known as the Kingdom of the North, the Kingdom of Mountain and Vale, the Kingdom of the Isles and Rivers, the Kingdom of the Rock, the Kingdom of the Reach, the Kingdom of the Storm, and Dorne. Joined by his sister wives Rhaenys and Visenya, their dragons Balerion, Meraxes, and Vhagar, and less than 3,000 soldiers from House Velaryon, Celtigar, and Massey. The Targaryens began their invasion of Westeros in 2 BC, landing at the mouth of Blackwater Rush where they built the Aegon Fort. As they started to expand their territory, Rhaenys and Visenya placed a Valyrian steel circlet inlaid with rubies upon Aegon's head, crowning him King of Westeros. The first major conquest came when they defeated the Kingdom of Isles and Rivers, killing King Harren the Black and the last of House Hoare in the burning of Harrenhal. The Riverlands were then given to House Tully, a noble family of ancient blood who sided with the Targaryens. Next fell the Kingdom of the Storm, when King Argilac Durrandon was slain in a battlefield duel, with Orys Baratheon, the best friend and rumored bastard brother of Aegon Targaryen. made the new Lord of the Stormlands. Orys embraced the Durrandon legacy by marrying the deceased king's daughter Argilla and adopting their sigil as well as their words to form House Baratheon. The Targaryens then conquered both the kingdoms of the Rock and Reach by defeating an army of 55,000 in the Field of Fire. After the battle, King Loren of House Lannister surrendered and was made Lord of the Westerlands, while King Mern Gardner IX and his sons were killed in the fighting, leaving Aegon to name Harlan Tyrell as Lord of the Reach, the former steward of Highgarden, who was rewarded for surrendering the castle peacefully. Though the Northmen were ready to fight for their independence, raising an army of 30,000, King Torrhen Stark knew they could not win, and so decided to save his people by bending the knee and surrendering his crown. Though Aegon named Torrhen Stark as Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North, he was forever remembered as the king who knelt. Rather than send an army to fight for the Kingdom of the Mountain and Vale, Visenya flew her dragon Vhagar directly into the courtyard of the Eyrie. By the time Lady Shara Arryn arrived, she found her beloved son Ronal sitting upon Visenya's lap, eagerly wanting to fly on the dragon. Understanding the implicit threat, the Vale surrendered to the Targaryens, and after being flown around the mountain 3 times, Ronal Arryn was named Lord of the Vale and Warden of the East. Though they conquered nearly the entire continent, the Targaryens were unable to defeat Dorne, with the elderly Princess Maria Martell warning Rhaenys that "You may burn us, my lady, but you will not bend us, break us, or make us bow. This is Dorne. You are not wanted here. Return at your peril." Despite this setback, Aegon was formally crowned King of Westeros by the High Septon in 1 AC, after which he went to the Iron Islands and had them name their new lord, choosing Vicon of House Greyjoy, an ancient noble family who once ruled as kings. With 6 of the 7 kingdoms of Westeros under Targaryen rule, the city of King's Landing was established around the Aegon Fort, where they built the Iron Throne, a monstrous chair forged from the melted swords of defeated enemies. Yet it was not enough for Aegon, who wanted to complete his conquest, launching the First Dornish War in 4 AC. Yet rather than defending their lands by meeting the invaders in battle, the Dornish employed a more long-term strategy, withdrawing from nearly every engagement, while abandoning towns and castles whenever an enemy army approached. As a result, the Targaryens quickly captured Sunspear and many other holdings, leading them to declare victory and start withdrawing troops. Yet once the main army was gone, the Dornish immediately began their counteroffensive, with Maria Martell re-emerging to take power in Sunspear. Having quickly lost control of Dorne, King Aegon mounted his dragon Balerion the Blackdread and flew south, burning a great number of castles in retaliation. Yet rather than instilling fear, it only escalated the conflict further. During a campaign to burn Starfall, Skyreach, and Hellholt, Queen Rhaenys and Meraxes were brought down by scorpion fire, leaving Aegon so enraged he went on another rampage, burning nearly every Dornish stronghold he could find. With the war dragging on, several attempts were made on the life of King Aegon, leading Queen Visenya to form the Kingsguard in 10 AC, modeling their vows after those of the Night's Watch, preventing them from holding lands, titles, or being wed. The war continued on for 3 more years until the death of the elderly princess Maria Martell, when her son Prince Nymor sent a mysterious letter to Aegon in King's Landing. Although its contents remain unknown, Aegon burned the message after reading it, and the next morning withdrew his troops from Dorne. Despite the hostilities between their people, this peace lasted for the rest of Aegon's reign, and the king even remained on good terms with Prince Nymor's daughter, Daria Martell, visiting Sunspear in 23 AC, alongside his eldest son, Aenys, for what was called a Feast of Friendship. Love Game of Thrones? Then be sure to check out the new book, The Thrones Effect, written by a number of respected A Song of Ice and Fire YouTubers, including GOT Academy, Because Geek, Secrets of the Citadel, Grey Area, Ideas of Ice and Fire, History of Westeros, and Smokescreen, with Chapter 5, titled Eye of the Beholder, written by CivilizationEx, exploring the various ways the characters and story can be interpreted, as well as how the audience reacted to their decisions. If interested, click on the link in the description box below, where The Thrones Effect is available as a physical copy, ebook, and audiobook. A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Ty Gillian Fraser, The Spectral Knight, Ryanon, and Jampo the Mad. If you'd like to help CivilizationEx, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to see more.